Okay, welcome back everybody to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. Today, as we record this, is Monday, January 20th. What a day, what a day. We have a couple big matches to talk about. Actually, we probably have a boatload of stuff to talk about, but Bayern beat Wolfsburg over the weekend on Saturday 3-2, and Chelsea beat Wolves today 3-1. So we had our double Wolf header.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I believe it was a double wolf matchup the last time all these teams played each other.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but that's just how it worked out. And we did have a full wolf moon just about a week ago or something like that. Maybe the 13th, I think.
Yeah, it was funny that that happened. And I have to comment and notice that you're wearing that little warm up, which I've seen on all your TikToks recently. So I don't know if you're wearing it every day in the last week, but I respect it.
Yeah, this is the shirt that I brought down to San Diego to cheer on Bayern Munich. But we're actually back here now in Milwaukee. Cars aren't starting, tires are needing air with the low temperatures. I don't think we're gonna get to double digits for a few days now, and we might not even get to 0 degrees tomorrow, Fahrenheit. So yeah, quite different here than it is down there in San Diego, but. Yeah, I thought I'd throw this one on since it is a Champions League week, and this is kind of Bayern Munich's Champions League warm-up shirt. So, um, check it out. And hey, that's a great segue or reference to make because this is a video episode again. We're back on the video cameras, so check us out on YouTube. And subscribe because we're going to be going full steam ahead with these video episodes and with these English weeks, at least for Bayern. They have 2 matches a week coming up for a little bit here. We're going to be um, pumping things out, and maybe later in this episode, you'll see a little bit of a surprise that can only be seen on video, which I haven't even told you about yet.
Love to hear that. Yeah, it's exciting always being on video here, and we're heading towards some very important matches. You mentioned Bayern heading to the Champions League here and playing with a little momentum right now, coming off this weekend, a nice win. So let's just get right into that.
Yeah, let's jump right in. I'll start like usual just by listing off Vincent Kompany's lineup because there was a surprise or two in this one, at least to me. Some things were a little bit different than I was expecting. So we saw Manuel Neuer in between the sticks, and we saw Konrad Laimer at right back. He's kind of locking down that spot. There's still a lot of injuries, but it's clear to me that Company really likes Laimer at right back. So we'll see what happens when everybody's fully fit here. But Upa and Kim were the center backs again. Kim is still carrying that Achilles injury, so we'll look to see if Dyer starts in any of these matches coming up. But we saw Alphonso Davies at the left back, and maybe we'll update you on his contract saga at the end of this episode. But the midfield pivot was Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka. Leon Goretzka fighting his way into this starting lineup, and as you'll see as we talk about this match, man, what a day for him. Then the attackers were Leroy Sane at the right wing, Michael Olise at the 10, and Kingsley Coman at the left wing with Harry Kane up top at the number 9 position. So a few interesting things there. Jamal Musiala wasn't healthy enough to start, and so that's why we saw Olise in the middle and Zane and Coman on either side.
Yeah, it kind of seems like companies desperately trying to figure out what his ideal winger situation is. Musiala kind of getting back to form here with injury or whatever he's dealing with. So he throws Elise in that 10, gives him two options then to try guys out on the wing, which I kind of respect that he did that because you might as well just give these guys more opportunities if Musiala's not going to be fit. And really, nobody is taking the chances, in the moment as they should be, which I'm sure we'll talk about more. But yeah, kind of an interesting lineup for Bayern. But I thought really things worked out well for them as they did control most of this match.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm not gonna lie either. When I saw that lineup, I mean, it's a lot of good, talented players, so I wasn't like worried as if, oh, the worst thing ever. We're gonna lose, but I was a little bit interested to see how Olise would perform at the 10 because the last two times he's played at the 10, he has not been good. It's just clear that he kind of needs that space to operate to the best of his ability. But this game, I was pleasantly surprised because I thought Olise was probably the best attacker, and I won't even say probably. He was the best attacker throughout the entirety of this game. So Olise again is just proving to me that he is the most consistent of these wingers. Um, and I'm starting to fall on what I think more concretely about the winger situation at Bayern Munich, but um, yeah, overall, I think Olise is the most consistent. I think that Leroy Sane maybe has the highest ceiling, but just has not been consistent lately. And then you got Coman and Gnabry, who are also inconsistent, also solid when they play well, but they're just both of them are just hurt so much and so inconsistent that, yeah, I think it is clear that Bayern will need a winger flip at that position over the summer.
Yeah, Elise is definitely proven at this point that he's a must start in most of your matches, especially your big matches. And then these other guys, as I keep mentioning, are just battling it out. And whatever you decide to do, that'll be interesting and they'll make that decision. But Elise and Kane and Musiala are your guys that are always going to be locked in. And then maybe you play matchup after that. Even a Muller could be considered depending on what you do. But even that midfield right now, in my opinion, right now, they should go with that midfield pairing because Kimmich and Goretzka, the way they've been playing lately, with all due respect to Pavlovic, they got this team humming right now. Bayern in that midfield. Talk about consistency. The wingers don't have it, but those two do.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. And if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, I probably would have slapped you across the face because, hey, we got Alexander Pavlovich, a bright young star, and we also got the coveted João Palhinha, who Bayern has been desperately chasing for a year. The summer before this last one, they were about to sign him. He was in Munich, and then the deal fell through at the 11th hour. So, with that midfield, and you also have guys like Connie Limer in the midfield and Tom Bischoff joining in the summer, who I want to talk about this a little bit at the end as well from Hoffenheim. You have a crowded midfield, but you hit the nail on the head with right now, today. This could all change in a week or something, but right now, today, Kimmich and Goretzka are the two most consistent midfielders for Bayern Munich. So, yeah, I mean, they just played a rock solid match, and getting back to the match, like you said, Bayern was certainly in control from the start of this match. Um, Maybe 3 or 4 minutes in, we saw Leroy Sané blast a fiery shot off the post. Kane had a beautiful shot that was nicely saved. Coman had a wide open breakaway that he just missed, but Bayern was getting chances, and they very easily could have bagged a couple goals in the first 10 minutes there.
Yeah, always good to see Bayern get off on the right foot there, and they certainly did. I was closely watching that first half, and they were playing great. They looked like a team that was fresh and ready and really controlling the match. And they did all the way up until that 20th minute, which was awesome to see.
Yeah, and in that 20th minute, that was when we saw the goal come from Leon Goretzka, and really what a perfectly placed shot. I mean, Goretzka got the ball decently far away from the goal and just slotted a shot right through, right beyond the goalie's reach in the bottom left corner and put Bayern on top 1-0. It was a deserved goal for Goretzka. It was a deserved goal for Bayern, and it was just awesome to see him celebrating there, hands on his ears, listening to the crowd because this is a guy who, holy shit, the Bayern bosses have done everything to run him out of town. I think the number one goal of Max Eberl and Christoph Freund seems to be to force Goretzka out of this club because they're still talking about it right now, almost for no reason. Like, I don't think you have to talk about that right now. But yeah, so for whatever reason, Goretzka believed in himself, and he is, yeah, I guess kind of making some people eat their words. I like to picture the Bayern bosses, screaming into a pillow every time Goretzka scores a goal. So, a great one for him, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, and one of those weird things where it's not like he's a young guy, right? So if he wants to play for Bayern, just let him play. And if he wants to sign, a decent middle of the road deal, fine, let him do that. It's always good depth. Like if he doesn't care that much, then let him be on the team. And if he wants to leave because you're telling him he's not going to play, fine, then he can leave. I'm sure somebody will buy him at some okay price, but it's not like he's a young guy where you're going to get tens of millions of dollars for him anyway. So, in my opinion, guys like that who wear the badge with honor and respect and treat it with honor and respect and play well, just keep them.
Yeah, agreed. I think he makes more money than Bayern want to pay him. I think that's part of the reason why they're trying to offload him so desperately. I think he gets a lot of hate off the pitch, partially because of just some of his outspokenness about social issues and things like that. But again, he's a fine player, and right now he's playing great. And, I'm out there on Twitter X defending his honor, it seems like, and sometimes on YouTube too. So, um, I'm not the biggest Goretzka fanboy in the world, but I see how he plays right now and I like it. He's a solid eight. He was defensively solid in this game. He was obviously offensively solid as well. So, I don't get the need to so desperately try to run him out of town. He is providing depth to this midfield. And the one thing that's consistent about Bayern Munich is they can't stay healthy. So I don't know. I think you need guys like him. And I'm more so peeved at the way he's been treated because he's not just some Joe Schmo. I mean, he isn't the best player on the team, but he's won a Champions League. He's won multiple Bundesligas, Pokals. So it's like, a guy like that, you just I think it sets a bad precedent if you treat him the way he's been treated.
Yeah, it certainly will be one to watch going forward. And something else to watch going forward will be if Bayern defends set pieces horribly because 4 minutes after that Goretzka goal, let's be honest, some pretty poor defending there by Bayern. A nice goal from Wolfsburg to slot that one in. Set pieces, great way to beat top teams if you're Wolfsburg, but let's be honest, just not the greatest defending.
Oh yeah, it was completely lazy defending. A few minutes after that, 24th minute when Wolfsburg scored that equalizer off of a set piece, like you said. Yeah, Bayern just went to sleep, lazy defending. I don't know who exactly was supposed to track this guy, but um, yeah, it was odd because he was kind of in between Olise and maybe Kim or Davies. I couldn't quite tell, but Olise kind of just looked like he was watching things go down and wasn't even actively playing on the set piece. So very weird, maybe a miscommunication or something. But the thing about Wolfsburg is they are a solid attacking team and they're going to make you pay. So that's exactly what they did right there, equalizing at 1-1. And, you know, when I look at this Wolfsburg lineup, I was thinking about it because Bayern just played Hoffenheim. And I think I like Hoffenheim's lineup more than I like Wolfsburg's. But man, oh man, is Wolfsburg a million times better than Hoffenheim right now. And I think that's really credit to Ralph Hasenhüttl and how he's just got the team playing because they are a dangerous attacking team and they clearly didn't just lay down and die against Bayern. They clearly fought. Even though Bayern was controlling a lot of the match, especially in the beginning, Wolfsburg really made the most of their chances, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I made the most of their chances, sure. I would agree with that. They end with one big chance. I'm sure it's that first big goal, but only get 7 shots, 28% possession. I didn't think they were super threatening overall, but I'd agree with you that, when they did kind of get some decent chances, they did the most with them, even going into the second half. But yeah, I still thought at that point Bayern were going to easily control the match, even though they get a goal back right away. Great, good for them. But to me, the way Bayern were playing, they still were bound to score at any moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think part of that too was because of how quickly Bayern's ball recovery time was. It's been like this all year in the Bundesliga. So I guess credit to Kompany for implementing that certain style of play. But when Bayern lost the ball, they were so fast to get it back. Um, so yeah, I do agree with you. And thought Bayern was going to win too. I thought that they were playing great. Like this is how I wanted to see um, Bayern play, especially in the Bundesliga, really all year. So no complaints there. I just wanted to shout out Wolfsburg's ability to still look dangerous in those chances when they did get the ball. But we saw in the 39th minute, Michael Olise maybe make up for it if that corner was partially on him. Again, I can't really tell, but yeah, he, you know, um, gets a ball from Sane kind of in the middle of the pitch again and shoots it. The ball kind of gets deflected, so I think it throws the keeper off. And I also think the keeper probably should have just done more on that one. But yeah, the ball ends up in the back of the net. Olise scores, and credit to him for being in the right place in the right time. Like I said, I think he started off that match a little slow as the 10, but from this point forward, he looked awesome.
Yeah, credit to Elise for getting shots on goal. It's always an important thing. And sometimes you're going to get lucky and balls will find their way in the back of the net. And certainly a save you have to make. I'm sure Grabara, looks like his name is, would tell you that he needs to save that. Certainly 99 out of 100 times, probably. But, I think he also had a pretty solid day, it appears, the keeper. So, maybe he makes up for it later. But yeah, like I said, Bayern were bound to score, and they did.
Yeah, I think Grabara did have a solid day, like you said, because Bayern was really peppering him, especially in that first shot or first half. They continued to pepper him after that Olise goal, and it looked like another Bayern goal was coming, and it did in the um, stoppage time in that first half there. Kimmich scored a goal um, off of a corner, headed it in. VAR looked at it and decided that the ball rolled too far down his arm, called it a handball, and disallowed the goal. So I thought that was a goal. It looked like it went off of his shoulder, but I don't think it rolled down his arm far enough to have it be considered a handball. It kind of just rolled on like this part of his arm. If you're watching the video, hey, check it out. But I've said this before. I'm thoroughly confused with the handball rules just because I've seen some that I thought are handballs and I've seen some that I thought aren't going either way. So, um, yeah, there was that. The half ended. Bayern went up into halftime, up 2-1.
Yeah, and my only note on that would be I'm sure Kimmich would tell you that easiest way to take VAR out of it is just to head that. And I'm sure he's probably disappointed that he maybe missed it or mistimed his jump or whatever the case was.
Yeah, so again, the second half starts, and I think Bayern still is looking in control and looking good. They get that third goal by none other than Leon Goretzka, again, the man we've been talking about, assisted by Michael Olise. It was a nice header by Goretzka there, and yeah, Bayern's up 3-1 at that point. It looks like the match is over. I'm kicking my feet back. This was an early match in San Diego. It started at 6:30. So, at that point, I'm thinking, all right, I can drink my coffee in peace. I can maybe have a couple pancakes and life is going to be good. Company brings some subs on. Gnabry comes in for Sane in the 67th minute, and Musiala comes in for Coman in the 75th minute. Right before Musiala came in for Coman, Coman missed one of the easiest shots I've seen all year. It started from a long pass by Manuel Neuer. Yep, it started by a pass from the keeper, all the way across the entire pitch. Finds a streaking onside Kingsley Coman, who has a one-on-one opportunity with the keeper and just misses the goal completely. And I really felt bad for him, to be honest, because when he got taken off, you could see his head in his hands, and clearly, Coman, Gnabry, Zane, they've all had some bad misses lately. And to be honest with you, I think that this winger competition is kind of maybe not forcing them to shoot so much, but I think it is subconsciously affecting them a little bit. Coman had some bad misses in this one. He did other things very well. He tracked back great. He was great off the ball. He burned a couple defenders a few times, but had a number of bad misses in this one, and also missed a wide open Harry Kane multiple times, which I've seen Gnabry and Zane do as well. So just something I've been thinking about. I don't know how this competition maybe is subconsciously affecting them.
Yeah, you're a professional footballer at the end of the day, and you have to make that chance. You just have to. It's a brilliant ball long by Neuer. And is it poor defending to not get it and let it bounce over and go to come on? Sure. But then you're one-on-one with the keeper and there's a lot of space there. And was it good goalkeeping to get your body up? Fine, sure. But you got to put your chances away if you're Coman. You got to take these chances that company is giving you and take the reins for that left wing spot. Somebody's got to do it. And like I keep saying, you just have to. I don't know how else to say it, but that's kind of how I feel about that. And I'd say it about anybody in an attacking role on any team. You just have to show that you're capable of putting the ball in the back of the net or providing assists to your teammates. And if you're not doing either, then you're just not providing enough value. And Bayern definitely has other options they can go to. So I'm sure Von Sohn will not be shy about doing that.
Yeah, speaking of those other options, at this point, I think you just have to play Matthews Tell more. We talked about it in the last episode. There's rumors about him and one Chelsea football club. Tell has always been just a great teammate. Always like he's not like he's some veteran. Tell's a young guy, 19 years old, I believe, but um, he seems like a great teammate. He's always seemed like he's wanted to play at Bayern, and eventually you got to start to play him more. I'm not saying start him all the time. I'm not even saying you have to start him in all these matches coming up. I'm just saying you have to start to give him more minutes. He looked good when he played against Hoffenheim. And I don't know if it's partially because, Bayern needs to show these guys, Coman and Gnabry, who they want to get rid of, to the world. I don't know if it's partially Kompany being a young coach and not wanting to lose the locker room because he's done so many great things in terms of man management. And it's not easy. I mean, Bayern has a great squad, a deep squad, and he's somehow got to keep all these guys happy. All these guys who have won tons and tons of things. So it's not easy to keep man managing well and to keep the locker room, but Kompany's done it so far. And so on one hand, credit to him for that. On the other hand, if Tell's not going to go out on loan, which it sounds like he's not going to, you just got to play him more. Um, Again, these are the perfect matches to do that. When you're up 3-1 against Wolfsburg, would be a great time to play him, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. He isn't getting the time tell, so you might as well see what he has to offer. And worst case, he tries really hard, and you know that's all you can ask for, especially from a young guy like that. So I would agree.
Yeah, so the last thing really to talk about in this match is while my feet were kicked up, while the pancakes were cooking, the match became unnecessarily tense at the very end. Wolfsburg got one back in the 88th minute. Massively, massively lazy, poor defending there. I think Bayern thought the match was over as well because we saw Wolfsburg just dribble through the whole team. Very poor defending by Davies, who otherwise I thought had a pretty good match. Poor defending by Goretzka, too. The only time I thought he defended poorly in the entire match. And whoever else, the whole back line basically that Wolfsburg went through pretty much untouched for another easy goal. So that happened in the 88th minute. And after that, things were just unnecessarily tough, unnecessarily tense.
Yeah, I mean, it was not the greatest defending for sure. I will say, whoever it was that assisted it did a really nice job of getting around a few defenders and then had a nice pass. And that's not a super easy finish for that goal. It's a left-footed finish across the net, across Neuer there, and it was a very clean finish. So while it might have been, kind of some so-so lazy defending at the end there by Bayern, credit where credit's due. It was a solid goal. I can't think of the guy's name, starts with an A, like Amora or something, that
Yep,
scored both.
Amora scored both of them. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a good player. He's got what it takes. I mean, he was there for both goals and really was the only guy on the team that did anything worthwhile. So credit to him.
Yeah, 100%. Both of those goals were definitely good goals. So that I guess leaves us now midweek. Bayern plays Wednesday at Feyenoord, the Dutch side in the Champions League. Another must-win Champions League match if you want to finish in the top eight, which Bayern should. Um, and so yeah, they are facing this team. They're having some success in the Champions League so far. They drew City, I want to believe, and they had a couple other nice wins here. I will look up what they've done so far in the competition, just so I don't sound like a complete fool. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that match?
Is
They
this?
did draw City, yeah, 3-3. Okay, and then
Oh,
who
never
else
mind. I
did
was
they
thinking.
beat? Oh, they beat Benfica. That
This
was
is
the other one I was
yeah.
thinking of. Yeah.
This is Feyenoord. I'm thinking of Fenerbahce, Jose's team. Um,
Oh yeah, that's the Turkish side, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this team is Dutch, and they hopefully will not be making the Eric Ten Hag Ajax run in the Champions League that we saw from another Dutch side, if Bayern has anything to say about it. So yeah, I think, at least I hope, Musiala is healthy enough to start this one, and Bayern's looking to have a big win here. Um, they're 10th right now in the Champions League table, so if they win out, I think they'll be able to finish in that top 8 spot, because my nightmare scenario is they don't and then they face like City or Real Madrid in the play-in game. So, long ways off, but hoping that doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, I think Bayern will comfortably win this one. Not too concerned about a Dutch squad here. Beautiful country, but just not concerned about it.
Yeah, so let's end off this Bayern Munich portion of the show by just giving out the match awards, because this is the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Only thing that I'm super excited about. I received this package in the mail from Germany with my official player cards. So my man of the match, I don't know how well this is focusing with the lighting, is Leon Goretzka right here, baby.
Love it. Yeah, my man of the match as well was Goretzka. I thought he was phenomenal and love him as a player and what he's done, even though he has a lot of haters out there.
My Robin of the match, again, we'll put up his card, Michael Olise, looking fresh in this photo.
Brilliant performance. My Robin, I actually went, if you can pull up this card, I don't know if you can do it on the spot here, but my Robin is Kimmich. Just really wanted to shout out that midfield. Thought they
Card
were
is
so
already up.
solid.
Card is
Yeah,
already up.
beautiful. Yep, my Robin.
My underrated player is Kimmich. That's why I had the card just ready to go here. Yeah, Kimmich had a great match. The heartbeat of this team. I feel like I say it every week, but hey, does this guy ever have a bad match? I think the answer is no. Um, Barcelona, he was a little bit poor, but I think everybody was poor in that one. Um, Yeah, I mean, the play just runs through Kimmich at Bayern Munich. It's really that simple. Um, and I think he got screwed. He got screwed by that handball call, and I think he got screwed as well with a yellow card for dissent, because first of all, Kimmich is the only one that's allowed to talk to the refs on Bayern. Neuer's the captain, but since Neuer's the keeper, um, he the duties are distributed to Kimmich, because Neuer can't run up and talk to the ref all the time. So, um, I don't even know if Kimmich actually said anything to the ref when he got this card. I think it might have been Goretzka, but whatever. I guess it's water under the bridge now.
So I don't know if they have the same rules as Premier League, but I thought the reason he got the card, I was just rewatching the highlights, was because maybe he's going to claim he didn't hear the whistle, but it's because he took the ball and dribbled off as if play was continuing on. So in the Premier League, if you kick the ball away or something, you get an automatic yellow. So if they have the same rules, I think that was why he got it, which it's light stuff, but
Yeah, that could have been it. The card wasn't given until after Goretzka said something to the ref, and I think that it's listed as dissent. I don't know. But you're right, he did kick the ball away, and yeah. I don't know if the whistle was blown or not. Too tough to tell, but let's move on to defender of the match. Here we go, Upamecano.
yeah, I thought there wasn't really a defender that stood out that much. So I'm going to instead pivot and just have a quick anecdote about Olise and say that those crosses that he makes, the assist he gets for Gretzka's second goal, that's what I was previewing at the beginning of the year, and I thought Kane would be on the end of a million of those, which hasn't quite happened, but certainly pleased to see that cross, beautiful cross in Goretzka.
Totally. Awesome cross. Yeah, for that goal to Goretzka. Agreed. Yeah, the only other thing is, like I said, I'm nervous, not nervous, but I'm a little upset that the wingers have missed Kane open so much in the box. It's a little concerning to me. Hopefully things get, um, I don't know, figured out there and everybody gets on the same page going forward here. But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to start talking a little bit about Chelsea as I shuffle this deck of cards?
Yeah, some Monday Night Football over in the Premier League for our beloved Chelsea Football Club. Home at the Bridge. Chelsea desperate for a win in this one. We got to be real here. They hadn't won in the last five Premier League matches against some average to poor opponents as well. So with City coming up this next weekend on Saturday, you really needed to see Chelsea win, and they did win. And there were certainly some highs, certainly some lows, but I would be a hypocrite if I didn't say that a win is a win, and I'll take a win.
Yeah, Chelsea needed a win, especially because that part of the Premier League table is so tight. Chelsea, I believe, sitting in fourth right now, but with like one day where you don't get 3 points, you could fall down to seventh, maybe eighth, I guess, depending on how some other teams do. But yeah, it's really tight right there. And of course, Man City is surging again. They'll always be dangerous. Obviously, Liverpool, Arsenal always going to be good. Forest is amazing this year, and there's just a lot of teams in that kind of in between area fighting for that European spot like Chelsea is. So big win for Chelsea. The one thing I will say is I think my moment of the match for this one actually happened a few days ago when Chelsea recalled Chalobah from Crystal Palace, because man oh man, that guy desperately wanted to stay at Chelsea, and another guy who was kind of froze out, forced out. Although just on loan, not on a permanent deal. So, very good for Chelsea to have him back, and he sure earned his stripes today.
Yeah, proper Chelsea, and that Chelsea blood runs deep. This is a guy that would do anything for the badge, would do anything for Chelsea Football Club. And I mean that. I think he really would die for Chelsea Football Club. And he's inserted right into the starting lineup. I wasn't sure if he would be or not. I just saw today after this match that Chelsea have gone with the second most changes in starting lineups in the Premier League this season, only behind Ipswich Town. So very interesting for Maresca with that stat. But you had Sanchez between the sticks, and then a back line of James, Tosin, Trevoh Chalobah, and Marc Cucurella. Some are saying the best left back in the world. Not me, some are saying. Midfield of KDH. What a shock that was. Caicedo. And then you had from right to left Noni, Palmer, Pedro Neto with Nico up top. Very interesting lineup, mostly due to Lavia, Enzo, and Colwill being out with knocks. Although from what we're hearing now, they're worse than knocks for Enzo and Lavia. And I'll get into that after our analysis of this match. But boy, oh boy, Chelsea, there's just never a dull day because the injuries are starting to pile up in a bad way. But super interesting lineup. I don't know what you thought once you ended up seeing it.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to ask you also what you thought of it because I started reading that lineup from bottom to top, I guess, defense to offense. And when I saw it, I was excited. I was excited for Chalobah to be back in there just because I felt bad about the way he was froze out, you could say, of the club over the summer. I was mostly excited to see James starting because yeah, I mean, he's just my favorite player on Chelsea. And to see him, last week, or I can't remember if that was maybe more than a week ago at this point, but with how crazy the schedule's been, last match, James scoring that late goal. I was excited to see James start. I was excited to see Chalobah start. Then the rest of the defense looked good. I was shocked and kind of confused with KDH because, quite frankly, he just hasn't done enough for me personally in the amount of time I've seen him Conference League and whatnot. I haven't been very impressed with him, so was surprised to see him there. And then I thought the attack was fine. I thought it was okay to give Noni the nod with how he shat all over the city and the team of Wolverhampton last time they played. So was excited to see some fireworks from him, and we'll get into it. But there were certainly fireworks from him in this one.
Yeah, maybe it's simpler than I thought all along in terms of my jersey hunt, not to change subjects here, but you talk about Reece James being your favorite player, and I've been kind of searching for some of these fringe players, Mudryk, Felix, guys aren't getting consistent time. Who knows with those guys? All along, I've loved Reece James. James, maybe it's simple. I throw the James on the back. It's my birth name, my legal name, and it would be beautiful. But nonetheless, he is a king, a Chelsea goat. No, not a goat, but he'd be up there if he wasn't hurt all the time. But man, he is incredible because it's rare that you can be so injury prone and kind of your body is weak and doesn't allow you to do the things that you want to do. And yet every time you come back, it's like you haven't missed a beat. And I don't know if that's maybe why he then gets re-hurt because he's just going right for it right away. But it's really amazing how he can be so talented and great on the pitch with all those injuries.
Yeah, I think you got to go with the birth certificate jersey as well. I mean, it just makes too much sense. But yeah, back to the match, I guess. Good, solid match from Reece James. Liked what I saw from him out of the highlights that I caught. Like I said, I was back and forth, getting new car batteries, inflating tires, getting called in to do some work on my day off. So it was kind of a hectic day. But I did catch those highlights moments ago. And yeah, just when I see James out there, brings a smile to my face.
Yeah, and he really contributed to that first goal that Chelsea had, and they controlled the first 40 minutes, I thought, really well. Getting the ball out to the wings a ton, Noni and Neto, and they had some enticing crosses in. You're kind of thinking, okay, this is that plan that Enzo has been doing every now and then where you focus on a lot of crosses, which is funny because you don't have a true number nine that's going to be on the end of them. But hey, if that's what Maresca thinks is best, I guess that's what we'll go with. And ends up getting Chelsea a lot of corners and some set pieces, and ultimately this first goal the ball kind of is scattered to the edge of the box. James tries to shoot one in low, deflects off Cunha, I believe, over to Tosin, who, credit to Tosin, a lot of jokes about him being the best striker on this team, but calmly takes a touch and fires it right in. I mean, great goal, all things considered.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think from what I saw, Tosin could be in the consideration for man of the match or at least a match award, based off how he played. But yeah, I mean, it looked like in the beginning of the match, Chelsea was thoroughly controlling things, like we've saw from them the last couple matches. They've controlled things in the first half. Yeah, I noticed some good crosses from Neto, one that ended up in a corner. Deflecting off some Wolves players in the box, and then some from Noni as well. Yeah, that goal was, like you said, looked like it was really started by James, and then the ball just landed in Tosin's lap, ended up literally in his lap. But to put that thing home is a whole nother story. It's easier said than done, I guess. And Tosin did it. Chelsea's number one striker, maybe. But it was a great strike, especially to do that as a defender. I don't want to take credit away from him saying that it fell in his lap, but yeah, good start for Chelsea.
Yeah, and the defenders were actually kind of the main focus of the start of the match too. They were really controlling the match well. Chalobah had a number of really nice tackles. One early on where he made a great sliding tackle. I don't know if it was actually in the box or on the edge, but if he misses that tackle, it's a goal scoring opportunity for sure. And if he just misses the guy completely, it's probably just a goal. So credit to him for right away just being an awesome defender. Cucurella flying all over the place. James, we talked about, and Tosin providing some great leadership as well. Uncle Tosin, as they've been calling him. So, really, the defense at the start, I think, is what was so strong and throughout the match because the attack, I thought they did start well with those crosses, but just ultimately didn't do enough, even when you're controlling for 40 minutes, to put this match away and get more chances for the team.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw then in what stoppage time, Wolves really capitalize on one of those opportunities that they had and capitalize off of a miniature Bob Sanchez mistake to equalize there at 1-1, a dropped ball on a corner that he should have caught.
Yeah, simply you just have to punch that ball. Cunha was trying maybe to score. He had three corners, including this one, where two of them hit the outside of the net, and then this one, which would have probably curled in if Sanchez isn't there. But if you're under pressure there and you panic a little bit, you got to just punch. That's like at worst case, you punch it out. And if somebody scores off of your punch, fine. I'm totally fine with that because at that point, it's a great goal from probably outside the box after the punch. But if you go for the catch and you're kind of falling back, flailing, you don't have enough power in your hands, and you let it dribble a foot in front of you, nothing good is going to come from that. So, well, what's frustrating is he makes these dumb mistakes. And I know he has that potential to make these great saves. He's got one of the best percentages in the league. I get that. And I also get that Jorgensen is not better. I do not believe Jorgensen is better. And I know there's a lot of talk about Sanchez, but I don't think Jorgensen is better. I don't think there's a better option in the team right now. So if you're going to stay with Sanchez, though, I don't know how you do it, but you just have to drill it into his head about how not to be dumb. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, every day that goes by is really a day that I am more and more sure that Chelsea just needs a new keeper. It's so hard to get keepers that are good enough to play at the level that Chelsea needs because, yeah, like you said, Sanchez, and even in this match, it looked like at the end, he makes so many great saves. But at this point in the season, you just can't continue to have these mental lapses that he has because that's really the thing. Like, he has these great physical attributes. He's physically able to, be up there with the best of them in terms of his shot stopping, saving ability, but his mental game just isn't there. His cool headedness isn't there. So I don't really know what Chelsea's going to do. I mean, I'm with you in that I don't think Jorgensen is better. The little Premier League action I've seen of him, he has panicked a lot and made some drops and some bobbles and some poor mistakes as well. So, um, yeah, it's just I guess you stick with Sanchez for now, but if I'm Chelsea, my eyes are on the market, the goalkeeper market all day long.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, this next year after summer, you bring back Petrovic, who, from all I've heard, has had an outstanding year for Strasbourg. So we'll see what happens there for Chelsea. But, back to this match, I'm thinking it's same old story that we've seen for the last 5 games in the Premier League, where Chelsea start strong, go a goal up. It's not like they had some crazy chances that they missed to go up more, but you'd like to think you should be up by more. Wolves tie it. All right, so now we're going to either draw or lose. And so in the halftime, that's really my thought process. So for Chelsea to come out then in the second half and be better, I think is a step forward. It's definitely a step in the right direction. Whatever Maresca said, or maybe it was just kind of the same and you trust that you're going to do better. But really the attack still wasn't incredible. Palmer, Neto, Noni, Jackson, to me, were silent for most of this match. And then, in that 60th minute, Noni does finally put a cross in that connects with Dewsbury Hall's head. And Cucurella is there in the box, these ghost runs into the box that he makes off the chest, uses the right foot to put it in. Really an attacking finish by Cucurella. I mean, some of these goals he scored are legitimately very good attacking goals, which is insane to say. And mostly with his right foot when he scores or his head. So crazy that he's doing it, but he is, and he's so reliable.
Yeah, I think that's where Cucurella shines the most is his ability to contribute to these attacks and be a threat really in the box. Um, Great cross by Noni on that one, I thought. Really incredible cross. It went off of KDH's head in kind of a weird way. So it looks like he gets the assist there. Just something to note, but I thought it was a great cross. And then I thought it was a great job by Cucurella, like you said, to put that ball in the back of the net, especially from a defender's perspective, I guess. Really just great vision of the pitch and a great timed run by him.
Yeah, those timed runs are phenomenal. He's never offside. He's always arriving seemingly at the perfect time. I think there's actually a lot of credit to be given to Dewsbury Hall for that header. Whether he's trying to score or assist, it's completely fair. He's doing the right thing in that moment because you know that you're kind of far from the keeper, but you can do as much as you can to head it backwards toward a dangerous area. And whether it sneaks in with bad positioning from Jose Sa or one of your teammates gets it, doesn't matter. And it ends up being the case with Cucurella being there. So I think KDH does deserve some credit. I thought he was largely non-existent, not necessarily in a bad way, more just kind of there in the midfield on the day.
All right, fine, I'll give him some credit.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. It's for a guy that hasn't played in like forever. There needs to be some credit there. But 5 minutes later, Chelsea score kind of another similar goal. That Noni cross isn't necessarily a set piece, but all three goals are set piece adjacent cross in, and this one comes off of actually the one good thing Jackson did all day, winning a free kick way in the left-hand corner there with a really nice kind of move around the defender, gets fouled. Reece James then with a brilliant cross in, I believe it was Reece, where Chalobah rises up from the ashes of Cobham training ground at Chelsea and scores. Oh, wait, doesn't score a goal because Noni steals it. And yes, this is why I texted you to F Noni because I was actually kind of pissed at him. I get you're an attacker. That's what you do is you just go chase these goals. But I would have liked to see that goal go in for Chalobah, and it would have gone in. The keeper wasn't getting there.
Yeah, I don't know if Noni like couldn't tell if it was going in or not. If you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, you say he didn't know it was going in. If you don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt, you say he hates Wolves so much that he's going to steal a goal from his teammate just to get that goal. But either way, the door is slammed shut, seemingly right there. So, yeah, I mean, Chalobah did everything to score that goal. Give him the goal in your heart if you want. Would have been nice to see his celebration, as a blue again. So, yeah, I mean, 3-1 at that point. Noni, whatever you want to say about him, gets the goal there officially.
Yeah, he's just a selfish attacker there, and that can be a good thing, certainly. You have to have those instincts as an attacking player. So, and that's what he said after the match. That's what they pay him for. So credit where credit's due. Chalobah does get the assist, which will still give him a lot to write home about. So awesome to see that. And then it was fairly smooth sailing from then on out. Jackson bags a goal that was offside. Another one of those things where he just can't quite time his runs correctly. Nice pass from Palmer. And then, they do make a few subs. Nothing really to note. Sancho comes in for Neto, Disasi in for James, Gusto in for KDH, and then Tyreek, George, and João Felix in for Noni and Cole Palmer. I would have loved to see Felix in a lot earlier. And I've said this for the last, however many weeks now. Another match where Palmer was pretty quiet, and I think that left-hand side, he's not going to perform as well. He gets in these spots where there's openings for shots, but he's not a right-footed player, so he's not taking these shots. He had one nice shot that was saved by Jose Sa, but he does so much better in that right kind of half space, as we've talked about so much. I know Enzo Fernandez was out. That's probably why Maresca did this. But still, you could have put KDH on the left. I don't know. He probably didn't want to play Felix and Palmer in terms of the defensive capabilities, but it's not like Dewsbury Hall is this world beater on defense. So to me, that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, the way Enzo Maresca talks about João Felix, I think you got to start to play him more. Whether, I get that he plays these positions that are already taken, but you gotta tweak things to find ways to get him in there. If he really is as good as you say he is, and we've seen him in flashes perform that way, so I think you just gotta see him more. Yeah, I have a couple questions for you that I was just thinking about during this match, after this match. One of them is kind of segueing in from what you just talked about. So Cole Palmer has not been scoring as much lately. When I've watched the matches, he looks like he's doing a lot of great things. You know, you talked about where he was playing in this match and how it's maybe not as effective as sometimes on that other side. He's just not been scoring as much. But when I watch, like I said, it looks like he is setting people up, getting good chances, but he's just not finding the back of the net. Is the book maybe a little bit out on Palmer? Is, this just a little bit of a slump? I just feel like in my head, I expect more goals from him against this run of teams that Chelsea's played. Um, I'm not writing him off by any stretch of the imagination, but I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that because I'm a little bit curious.
Yeah, he's not scoring a ton, but he is the only guy that is scoring still. He had a goal against Bournemouth and then the one against Fulham. So I think it's just because the team is in a bad stretch. He's the only player in the Premier League after today to have created more than 60 chances. The guy should have more assists, plain and simple. His teammates aren't finishing a lot of his chances,
That's where my
whether that
head's been
be
at.
yeah. So, I think yes, they're man marking him, doubling him, tripling him way more than they were last year. So it's going to be tougher at times for him to get more open space, but I still think largely he's been pretty awesome. I think, today he has an off day just for the reasons I stated about being on that left-hand side.
Now, what do you think about Jackson? Because I've seen a lot of people that are so big on Jackson, um, and it seems like they'll defend him no matter what. I've seen some, you know, people who are disappointed with his maybe lack of output so far during this stretch as well. But he was kind of the other guy I wanted to ask you about because it seems like for me, whenever I start to get concerned about him, he pulls off performance that makes me not concerned about him. So, I don't know. It's just interesting. I still don't really look at him as a true striker. Chelsea has too many players to play him anywhere else, like on the wing, but um, I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about and want to know what you think about him too.
Unless you're Harry Kane, Lewandowski, or Erling Haaland, you're just going to have stretches where you're not scoring goals as a striker. Even a guy like Alexander Isak, who's the hottest striker in the Premier League right now, 8 games in a row with a goal. But before that, he wasn't doing much. So that's the stretch Jackson's in right now. I'm not too worried about it. Games like this, he's unfortunately not the ideal striker to have because you're crossing the ball in time after time. That's not his strong suit. His strong suit is making brilliant runs and then finishing from there. So that's why he does that really well. And his connection with Palmer is so great. But you're going to have certain games that just don't suit him. He's really great. I think probably the best striker in the Premier League when the game really opens up and there's a ton of space where he can make those runs. I don't think there's anybody better than him at that. Um, and he's just
Agreed.
got to do better finishing as well. When he has gotten his chances, he hasn't finished them.
Yeah, I think that's almost why I see him as like a pseudo striker is because of his profile. Like you said, he's great at making runs. But he's not somebody who I see as like a target man in the box who you're just gonna feed with cross and feed with cross and he's gonna bury, the opportunities that he had. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm somebody who thinks that Kane is the best striker in the world, and I watch him every single match, and so I see when he has off matches. His finishing wasn't the best against Wolfsburg either. Um, so yeah, I get that. Um, but yeah, I guess what do you think about Chelsea going forward now in fourth place? Man City coming up.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to touch on is a lot to do with going forward because we potentially are in a bit of an injury crisis, and it's not as bad as it has been the last couple of years at Chelsea, but we're in a moment where things could get dicey here, and I'm a little worried. So Enzo Fernandez, it sounds like It's probably going to be days, they're saying, but I doubt he's going to play this weekend. Huge loss. Lavia, according to Maresca, is worse than Enzo Fernandez. So to me, that sounds like weeks. And with his injury history, who the frick knows what that guy is going through? But massive, massive loss. We saw his impact when he came back against Bournemouth. So I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned because Caicedo can't do it all. He can't play 90 minutes every match and be as great as he's been. We saw a little bit today. He's just not going to be up to 100% all the time. I don't trust KDH starting every Premier League match in the midfield. I don't trust Cucurella in the midfield, who they threw in, toward the end of the match when KDH came off. So you got to decide what you're going to do if you're these directors. Are you going to recall Andre Santos? Looking like probably not. They want to see him succeed with Strasbourg here for the rest of the year. And they're hot as hell right now. So I respect that decision. Do you recall Leslie Ugochukwu from Southampton, who's been playing better as of late? Southampton are not going anywhere. They will be relegated. That to me is the move you make. It seems like Vega is out the door. He's another DM option. So you have to do something because if you're stuck with your tail between your legs with no midfielders after these guys stay injured, then you're screwed. And we're looking at not getting top five at that point, which to me is so, 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 so important is to get top five.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like Chelsea has any problem spending money, so might be the move here in January. Do you have any thoughts about the January transfer market? I have a few things to mention regarding Bayern Munich players and the transfer window, but I'll let you keep going if there's anything else you need to get off your chest.
Yeah, like I said, I would just recall one of those two players that you have out on loan just for some cover. We're not rumored really in the midfield market looking at anybody, so you got to bring somebody in my opinion, for depth. Sounds like we're getting Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg, but after the summer, 19-year-old center back. Just another interesting move. Who knows what they're doing with that? Am I bringing in a winger? Maybe at the right price. This Garnacho stuff is really heating up. Everybody's pissed about it. I don't know if I have thoughts on it, to be completely honest. And I don't want to say publicly my thoughts that I feel inside of me when I look at Garnacho. Just disgusting thoughts that I have. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen with the rest of this window. I almost don't even want to comment on anything that could happen because Chelsea could really do anything. But at times, I just don't know what these directors are doing.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there is a little bit of a lack of a vision at times. It seems like, hey, we're gonna throw everything at the wall and see what sticks and what doesn't, which is, I guess, one way to do it. They have certainly found some success at some places. Um, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like Chelsea maybe is interested in Jamie Gittins too. I know Bayern is interested there. Great left winger from Dortmund. I don't know if you've seen any of those rumors, but I think I've seen a rumor or two.
Seems like a great player, a lot of speed. Is he going to help, when we struggle against some of these low blocks? Who knows?
Yeah.
I just don't know the right move here about bringing these guys in. And there's so many options and what they're doing. I don't know if anybody's better than what we have. I don't love what we have even, but it just seems like you're putting a band-aid on some of this. To me, you try to do your best tactically to win some of these matches and hope your chances are falling because you're creating a ton of chances still. So just work on finishing and reassess in the summer, honestly.
Agree. I mean, it seems like Chelsea has the talent to do well. It's just like putting things together with the talent that they do have. I guess moving over to Bayern, but tying in Chelsea, it seems like there's no news on the Tel Nkunku situation. Sounds like Nkunku wants Bayern. It was reported that verbal, um, there's a verbal agreement with terms, so things could happen there, but Chelsea's going to want it's being reported 70 mil, which Bayern won't pay that, um, especially right now. So I guess we'll see what happens there. I don't know how Nkunku fits in at Bayern. I guess I don't see how he's gonna have the playing time that he wants that he's not getting at Chelsea at Bayern. Um, and yeah, Chelsea, it sounds like wants Tell. I'm not sure if Tell's gonna move right now. Um, so while that's stalled, I guess one piece of news that dropped right after the Bayern Hoffenheim match was that Hoffenheim midfielder Tom Bischoff agreed to terms with Bayern Munich to come in the summer. Um, and again, it's just funny because we talked about this, you know, over and over again, beginning of the episode and multiple episodes. Ebrel is not going to sleep until Goretzka's gone. So I think that move is a move to get Goretzka out of town. Bischoff, a very good young player, so I like the move. In eight, similar profile to Goretzka, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bayern's midfield room is going to be a little bit convoluted. Kimmich, Pavlovic, Goretzka, Polina, Limer. So we'll see what happens there. I think Bischoff will either go on loan or will be a rotational piece. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like he's not going to go on loan though by the initial reports. So you got to move somebody if that's the case.
Yeah, I saw the move. Don't know enough about the player.
Yeah, like I said, a solid eight, young player. I like him. He's the kind of guy where it's like, okay, if you're gonna get him on a free, you got to go after him. Um, it's a problem for down the road as to how that will affect the depth chart in the lineup. But the last thing I want to mention is the rumors about some of these contracts that are happening right now with Bayern Munich. The big ones are Musiala, Davies, and Kimmich. Um, it sounds like a Musiala deal is almost done. I feel like I've been saying that forever, but I think Bayern is bending the knee and they're going to make him the first player with a release clause. Um, Rumored to be around 175 mil. We talked about that before. I get why Musiala wants a release clause. He wants to ensure that Bayern's good going forward here, but I'm a little bit worried about the precedent it could set for Bayern Munich because they're just a club that doesn't do that.
Yeah, I've said it. I'll continue saying it. I don't care. I'd give him whatever he wants. We talk about him as a future Ballon d'Or potential winner, top 10, top five player. So to me, if that's what he can be, I give him whatever he wants and I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. If he's truly not backing down on that, you have to give it to him. And if this is going to set off a chain reaction of maybe more players wanting to come and play with Musiala, Florian Wirtz, dream target, obviously. If this is going to make Davies ink that deal, if this is going to make Kimmich ink that deal, you got to do it. But yeah, speaking of those two, the Davies saga starting last winter, reports from Spain, he's signed for Real Madrid, he's leaving Bayern Munich, done deal, inked on the spot. Then wait, up to this winter, he loves Vincent Kompany, he's best friends with Jamal Musiala, he's playing out of his mind. Wait a minute. He's going to stay with Bayern Munich. Madrid is in shambles. Their left side is, they're not really in shambles. I think they're atop La Liga now, but they're getting their ass kicked by Barca. That left side is kind of a mess with Vinny and Mbappe and everybody over there. Um, and then a few days ago, the Spanish newspaper, I think it's called Marca, front page headline, I can't remember the exact Spanish phrasing, but Alfonso Davies sí es cerca. It's it's he's close to saying yes to Madrid, and talks fell apart at the 11th hour with his agent, asshole agent, and Bayern Munich, and he's getting on a plane out of Munich, going to Madrid. And wait a minute, the next day, that's all bullshit. His agent is extending his stay in Munich, and Davies told him, "What are you doing, man? I want to be on Bayern. Jamal Musiala is my best friend." So now, finally, at long last, it sounds like that deal is close to being done. I mean, what a shit show there.
Yeah, that PR Madrid train is gonna give you nightmares. Tell you what.
Yeah. So everybody who says, "How can you say no to Real Madrid?" If this deal gets done, Alfonso Davies just did, and he's my hero for that. And last but not least, Joshua Kimmich, continuing to stick it to the Bayern bosses. He's talking to Liverpool now. He's talking to City. He's talking to Barca. So he's holding, and I'm saying he because he is his own agent, holding informal talks with some of these big clubs. So we'll see what happens there. I think my gut tells me at the end of the day he's going to extend, but I think he really is going to make life hell for Bayern's bosses who did not give him backing when Tuchel aired him out, and all the COVID stuff and everything. And like I said, his family's in Munich. I could see him being the next captain. I think he's eventually gonna ink a deal, but not without some trouble.
Yeah, rightfully so. Kimmich as well. Same thoughts I have as Musiala, not quite as exaggerated, but I think he's just a guy that you do want to keep around.
Yeah, so there's all your updates. That's all I have to say for now, and we'll be back before long with this. At least I will be with this Champions League match coming up on Wednesday. Anything else to add?
No, excited for some midweek football to keep me warm. Tomorrow it's gonna be like -15 before wind chill. So all of you out there really just feel sorry for us. And I do want to mention as well, TikTok is back. It was gone for a really long stretch of time. I think 12 hours where, I thought life was ending. So follow us over there on TikTok, but also follow us on Instagram because yes, I did create an Instagram. Always Bayern Chelsea. They have those reels over there. It's kind of similar to TikTok, but might as well give me a follow there, us a follow there. So good things on all socials.
While you're spreading the love, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you know that's about it. Thanks for hanging in there. If you made it this far, thanks for spending some time with us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm if you're in Wisconsin. Mia san Mia.
Up to Chelsea.